Hey everyone. Hey everyone, this is Des Gerald with DI Real Estate and Staging. We have another Sensible Sundays. I'm here with Karina with War Cry Consulting,
Hi.
and we are excited to bring in
Yes.
this evening's topic, which
Yes.
is questions you should ask a credit counselor before you hire them. And so
Yes.
this is Karina's area of expertise. So I'm going to let her go ahead and take it from here, and let's get started.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Des, so much. I really appreciate being here and on here talking about credit. And so we talked last week about questions that you should ask your realtor. Phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal content value that was added. I want to thank you. It helped me. I don't
You're
know about
welcome.
anybody else. I'm going to always take what I need.
Right.
And so it was amazing. And so this week we're going to talk a little bit about questions that you could or should ask someone that is working with credit.
And
Now,
Karina, I'm going to say that maybe we'll have a part two to
okay,
questions you should ask a realtor because I still have a lot more questions.
yeah,
But, I'll just see if anyone wants to reach out to me individually so that you can
yes,
get them yourself. But all right, let's go back
awesome,
to credit.
awesome. So the questions that I have, they're really basic questions, and they may not necessarily fully um, I would say be pinpointed as far as someone only working with credit. I
Mhm.
wanted to take like a broad stance with
Okay.
this. And so the questions, and I don't have a ton of questions, only because they can be questions can be a little delicate, and then they can also be specific to your case.
Right.
So definitely, if you guys have any questions outside of what I posed tonight, please, please, please feel free to inbox either myself or Des, and we will make sure we get those questions answered on the next one.
Right.
We're not above. If we don't know the answer, we'll find out. Okay, we're
Absolutely.
not. We consider ourselves great in our fields, experts in our fields, but there are still some things we don't know. We will definitely
I'm
find out for
I'm
you guys.
learning every day. Like
Yes.
I've been in the industry literally since 2003,
Yeah.
okay? But I'm still learning. And over time, rules change and everything.
Exactly.
So there's always something to learn. And I am a researcher. I
Hmm.
love to learn, so please bring
Yes.
bring me questions I don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the first one that I want to hit you guys with, what is the difference in credit repair and credit coaching? And so I get this question a lot, a lot, a lot, because for me, I don't consider myself a credit repair specialist, because there are specific avenues that credit repair specialists need to go through. I am a certified coach. And so a credit repair, when you go through credit repair, you're actually having someone really dig into your credit report. They are responsible for looking at your credit report and literally picking apart any inaccuracies that are on
Right.
your credit report that, for lack of a better term, a company has broken the law. Okay. And they have various things on your credit report. It could be that they are reporting your account incorrectly as far as the type of account it is. They could have the wrong dollar amount. These small nuances that we, as John PQ, the public may not really think about. Oh, that's not right. That's not right. But guess what? It's the law. You're supposed to have this information accurate on your report, because these are things that actually ding your credit report. And so a credit repair specialist knows these laws flat out. They research them, what they don't know, and they actually get these items removed from your credit report. Now, a credit coach, I do the same thing, but I do it in a DIY stance. So I don't do this for you. I actually help walk you through it. And I also help you build your credit. Okay, repair and build. And the difference is a credit repair specialist typically, now 2020, more people are getting into, because they understand that accountability is necessary and they need to be able to educate the public. So
Right.
more people are getting into actually, coaching and things like that. But a credit coach, just a specific credit coach, is going to help you DIY, repair your credit, but also they're going to walk you through what got you to that point and then
Okay.
help you not get back there again.
Okay.
And so that is my passion. I want to help you become accountable. We're going to look at credit behaviors. It's not fun. I'm going to pick through that credit report. I'm also going to pick through your bank accounts, your credit statements. I'm going to pick through your entire financial landscape. So there's a huge difference there. I'm going to look at what caused you to get to this point. It could have been something that you've done, or it could have been something, job loss, death in the family,
Right.
those types of things. But we're going to sit down and we're going to strategize.
Right.
So we're going to clean it up, then we're going to build it up, and we're going to make sure you know how to do that yourself.
And maintain it.
And maintain it.
And maintain it.
And
Yeah,
with that,
important.
and with that credit coaching, you're going to be in a better place. And this is why I like to put on the end of it, I am really your home buying advocate, because I'm going to make sure you are lendable with
Right.
your lender and you're ready for your realtor.
Right.
And so those are the differences between a credit repair specialist and a credit coach. Okay.
That's so important to know, because sometimes you don't know what you're really signing up for.
Exactly.
I have so many clients that will sign up with like just different credit repair companies, and all they're doing is collecting money every month and generating, letters, and which I hear, yeah, that's like good to do, but that's not the whole. That's not everything that's necessary and beneficial to you if you are trying to restore your credit and build your credit and maintain it. You need so much more than that. And so when I have clients that come to me and they're with these companies, I'm like, okay, so have you spoken to anybody one-on-one?
Right.
Because I don't play that. Like, I want to make sure that my clients are taken care of and they're not being taken advantage of.
Exactly. And the whole thing with that is they do this thing, it's called a blitz, where they send out these dispute letters, which is fine, but if you're looking to purchase a home in the very near future, you can't have a ton of disputes on your credit report. So, you have to be able to determine what is your long-term goal, or even your short-term goal for that matter. If you're looking to purchase a home within the next, 2 to 3 months, you don't want to go to a credit repair specialist, because when you get ready to go to that lender, they're probably going to deny you because you've got disputes on your credit report.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah. And so you really want to make sure you're looking at that. A credit coach, we're going to look at your credit and see what are ways we can strategize to get that score boosted.
Okay.
There are different things that you can do to get it boosted if it's able to be done, in that amount of time that you need.
And you have a boot camp did it just start, or it started?
It started today. It is a money and credit boot camp. I'm so excited. I love it. So this boot camp is a 20.
Y'all, you got to get your muscle up. You know what I'm saying? So what time is it? What time is the boot camp?
It's self-paced, so it dropped this morning.
Okay.
And so I have it automatically. It drops every day. There's a lesson, videos, different things like that. It drops every single day. And, I wanted to make sure it was priced optimally. So it's $1 a day.
I mean, that's a steal. That's a steal, because, these companies out here are charging like what, $95 to $100 a month?
Yes.
And you're not really getting,
right.
Guys, come on.
And it is for 21 days. It started today. The last day is February 8th. So if you have not signed up, you've missed out on this one. However, I am going to have another one coming around probably in another 45 days or so.
Okay.
So stay
Sounds
connected
good.
because I love, love, love. Let me tell you guys, the first one that I ever did was January 2019. I actually have someone now who's in her new home.
That's awesome.
She is in her new home. So, you know, there are, I take this personally.
I can tell you how passionate you are. And you know what? All of my preferred vendors and my partners, if you're not passionate, I do not connect myself with you.
Yes.
Okay? Because it's
Yes.
not a game out here.
It's
Like,
not.
it's not a game.
It is not.
It's not a game. You need to attach yourself with people that are genuine, that are
Yes.
authentic, and that are passionate about what
Right.
they're doing.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And this money and credit boot camp, we go through the credit piece. You do get the dispute letters. I do hand those out in the boot camp so that you can have them to go ahead and dispute anything that you find. I teach you how to break down and look at your credit report, who to reach out to, how to reach out to them. What you should expect. I also show you strategies to boost your scores, things of that nature. We go through your bank accounts. We go through your spending. We go through your saving. We go through so much in 21 days. It's 21 days because it takes 21 days to break a habit.
There you go.
Or to form a habit. So
go.
we're hitting both of them at the same time.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, I love it. So yes,
New year, new habits.
yes,
and
yes.
good habits.
Yes. So the 21-day money and credit boot camp, I am so excited. If you've not signed up for that, for this particular one, again, we'll have another one in about 30 to 45 days.
That is awesome.
Yes. And so then the next question, why is it important that I am involved? And I want to say it is the main point that Des actually just brought out, because have you talked to the people?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what they're doing in your credit file? Or did you just sign up with the company that put you into a portal and someone else is working on it? And that person that you signed up with is only a salesperson.
And then it's just a machine after that.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
machine.
So, you know, that is why you want to be involved. This is important, guys. This is your financial landscape, and you want to make sure that you are involved the same way you would be involved if you went to the doctor, you
That's
know,
right.
anything else. You want to actually be involved. And then what training or expertise should someone have? For a credit repair specialist, there is specific training that they need to have, and they are certified.
Mm-hmm.
The credit specialists, I'm sorry guys, I forgot, I did not write it down, but there is an association that most of them are accredited through. So you want to make sure if it is a legitimate credit repair specialist and not just someone that decided, hey, I fix credit, you know, I fixed my sister and them's credit, so I should be able to do yours, you know, out of the basement. I'm not knocking that. Trust me, you know, Amazon started out of the garage.
Yeah.
You know, Facebook started out of, you know, a dorm room. I'm not knocking it, but this is delicate. You know, this
Yeah.
is very delicate. And so you want to make sure that there's some type of backing. With the
Right.
credit coaching, again, I am a certified coach. So there are things that, you know, you want to make sure that this is somebody that's legitimate, because think about it. You're giving them your social security number.
Yep.
Unless you you really actually have to give it to them because they need to send out the dispute letters. You're giving them your date of birth. You're giving them your address. You're giving them all of your financial information.
That's
You know,
right.
so you want to make sure you know who it is that you're giving this information to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, so this next one, I've heard people say that, you know, they can guarantee results, but then some people say that they cannot. So what is the difference in that? So listen, you should not ever, if someone says, I can guarantee you the 700 club, which is, I've heard this a ton of times, that is against the law. Because they cannot guarantee you a certain credit score because they don't control it. So credit repair specialists are not allowed to guarantee a certain credit score.
That's
Okay.
good to know. I didn't know that.
They cannot do that. So if they're doing that, you want to run. Now, they
Real
can,
fast.
right, they can guarantee that they can, work on your credit and get some responses in, say, I don't know, 30 to 90 days, because by law, the credit agencies do have to respond in a certain amount of time. So you want to look at the wording of what they're guaranteeing, because what they may be trying to guarantee that sounds good to get you over to their side is really nothing. If they say I can guarantee, responses in 30 to 90 days, that's nothing. The law says that the credit agencies have to respond within 30 days. So,
Wow. Yeah.
that's, yeah.
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 They're selling you something that you're supposed to be getting.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And then a couple of technical questions that I had. Should I close my accounts once they're paid off? I know this is one of the questions that credit repair specialists and credit coaches get. You should never close out your accounts once you pay them off. Okay. And there are specific reasons why. I'll just give just a little bit. Your credit score is comprised of different formulas, different sections, and you don't want to knock yourself out of those parameters by closing off your accounts. I've had people say, well, my kid or my husband or my daughter, somebody told me I needed to do this, and they've got this big title and all this stuff. Baby, don't do it. You will shoot yourself.
Because you need the history, right?
You need the history. You need the history, and you need that. You want to make sure you have that credit balance there. That utilization. You want to have all of that there.
Right.
So never ever close out your accounts. Now, Karina, what if I'm a shopper and I just can't help myself? Cut that bad boy up. Cut it up. Honestly, if you're gonna need it in the future, you can always order a replacement.
That's a good idea.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a good idea, because just like it'll still be there, but you can't use it yourself.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly
smart. That's
Yes.
smart. That's a good idea.
I'm telling you, I've had enough clients to where we've had to come up with strategies to help, because the credit, and that is one of the things as a credit coach that we would help an individual with, strategies to make them better in their spending, in their financial portfolio.
I mean, it's really your mindset, right? It's like, you just gotta get it in your mind. I think that 21-day boot camp is so imperative.
Yes.
Because like you said, it does take that long to break a bad habit and change your mindset.
Yep.
And
that mindset, and that's one of the things that I try to relate to people. I don't just work with people and their credit. One of the first things I have to work with is the mindset. It is literally the mindset. There are certain things, certain triggers that people do. I used to be really big into retail therapy.
Okay.
I had to stop, I moved into, feeling good by eating. I had to lose weight.
I think we've all experienced that.
Yeah, and so you have to know what your triggers are.
Yeah.
And if your trigger is, I'm just going to go out and get, a pair of shoes or a handbag, even eating, that can be a problem. I remember years ago, I was working for a company and they had a cafe on the bottom floor. And so I would go every day for breakfast and for lunch. And one day, this is before I, became a money and credit coach, a financial coach. I sat down and I looked at all the money that I was spending there.
Wow.
And then I said, and the food is not that good. And it was making me, gain weight. Wow. I said, this is too much. This is ridiculous. And so these are things, and I had to sit down and figure out, why am I doing this? And so the coaching piece, guys, it is so much more than let me just dispute. Again, I'm not knocking anybody I'm not trying to dim anybody's shine. If that's what you do, I do know a ton of legitimate credit repair specialists. Some of them are my friends, and I actually will slide people their way if I know that's all that they need.
Right.
But the coaching goes a little bit further.
Mm-hmm.
Another technical question that I've had asked of me is, I have 3 credit cards, all are showing paid on time, but my scores are still low or have not moved. And so this is a technical question that would have to be reviewed. Your credit report, your profile, your entire profile would have to be reviewed. But I can say that you really need to have a really good mixture of credit in order for your credit score to really hit as high as it possibly can. 3 credit cards is really, it's okay, but it's not enough.
Right.
Okay. So you have to have a blend of credit. Okay. So you would have to have some type of loan, car note. I do have options for this that people can sign up for to be able to get those blended types in there.
Okay.
Let's see. Why should I hire a money and credit coach? I think I've answered that already. Because you get a difference. There's a difference in hiring a money and credit coach. You're actually going to get your entire financial portfolio really landscaped. I like to say it's manicured at this point. Maybe not perfect, but you're going to be on the right road. I still get messages from previous clients that once you learn something, it's learned. It's now a behavior, and you begin to move into that. Even if, there are some people that do have triggers that say, well, I kind of fell off for about 2 or 3 months and I went shopping, but, things kind of lightened up and, the stress was gone. And so now I'm back to normal. So these are behaviors that you'll learn that you won't forget. And then you'll be able to teach your kids. That is important.
Yeah.
I think Des, you and I talked about that. I want to say either in the last session or the one before about your daughter, purchasing a home and my daughter purchasing a home.
Right. Yeah.
And so, these are things that you want to be able to pass down to your kids.
That's right.
My mom for all of my life has had 700, almost 800 credit scores, but that was never, ever a conversation that we ever had. The conversations that we had were, when I was in college, you better not get a credit card or I'm going to get you. But there was never a why. There was never a, this is what can happen. It was just, don't do it.
Our parents' generations, that was it. Like, they told you something and that was it. Like, you couldn't ask questions or anything like that. But it's just important to, a good way to teach is, say, you probably shouldn't get this, and here's why.
Exactly.
Because that's what helps someone learn, the reason why you shouldn't be doing these things, and it would probably make them stay away from doing them things, as opposed to just hearing, just don't get it. Exactly. Then now you have someone that's curious, like, why shouldn't I?
That was me. So at 18, I had a credit card that went, I'm in college. They gave it to me. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a job. So I went and got, I got this credit card. I was told not to. Okay, well, I want to see what it's about.
Right.
Went and got it, and there goes my credit, And so in my early 20s, guys, I had 400 credit scores.
Yeah.
So it is imperative, with the money and credit coaches, you want to have that credit coach that is going to teach you solid principles on your financial portfolio, and making sure you have this knowledge that is passed downable. If I can make up a word, passed downable.
Yeah.
And then one question, I actually had someone ask me this: how can I benefit from a money and credit coach if I'm not making 6 figures?
Why do you have to make 6 figures? Why? What? Why?
Bless their hearts. There is no reason. People think in order to have someone coach you on money, you have to have a ton of it. No,
Right. Yeah.
you don't.
Right.
Now you would need an income of
Right.
some sort, but you don't have to make six figures to, have a coach to coach you in your finances. Um, that is so far from the truth. Please don't limit yourself thinking that that is the case. It really is not. Um, Coaches we see a wide range of income.
Mm-hmm.
And so just know that if you have income and you really think and believe and know that you would really benefit from somebody walking alongside of you. And guys, a money and credit coach is just like any other coach, a personal trainer. When you go to the gym, they're not your friend when you're in the gym. Now, when y'all step out of the gym, you go to, maybe to the little juice bar. Maybe
Right.
they're your friend then. But a financial coach, they are not your friend when you're on the field.
Right.
Okay. And so there are some things that you have to hear, that you need to know, that you need to do, some exercises, things like that, that
Right.
what are those things called? My husband, he was making me do those and I hated them. What are those exercises? There's some kind of exercises. I can't think of them now. But they're horrible, hideous. I hate it. I'll think of them later. And then how do I know a credit repair specialist is legit? I think we touched on that earlier. Most of them are accredited in some form or fashion. Then you can look on the Better Business Bureau, look at their reviews. Now,
Is there like one organization? Is it like an organization? Like, for instance, for realtors, it's the Real Estate Commission, and they're through every state. So whatever state you're in, if you're in North Carolina, you contact the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. If you're in
So
Georgia,
they don't, the thing with the credit repair specialists, they're not required.
Okay.
So you kind of run into that conundrum. They're not required to be accredited, but you really want to have somebody, if they are a true credit repair specialist, somebody that is accredited. Now, that information I cannot remember off the top of my head, so I will make sure I do get that information for you guys.
Okay.
But if they're a credit repair specialist, you want to make sure that they are some kind of way accredited through an organization. There are several of them.
Okay.
But you want to make sure that they're not just running off of their kitchen sink.
Right.
Yeah. Excuse me. And then this question I had somebody ask me. This actually came out of the boot camp. I'm interested in purchasing a home. Should I go to the lender or the realtor first? So I would say, for if you have not done anything at all, you need to go to your credit coach first, because your credit coach is going to get you right. Then I would say go to your realtor, because your realtor is going to have a relationship with a lender. Not that they are, pushing you towards a specific realtor. You have the option to choose your own, but your realtor is going to have somebody in mind that will line up with the things that you need. So go to a credit coach first, because we're going to get you lender ready and we're going to get you realtor ready. So when you go to the realtor, when you leave someone like me, you're going to go to the realtor. The realtor is going to say, okay, great, you're ready to go. Let me slide you over to the lender. The lender is going to say, okay, great, Des. Let me get this pre-qualification or pre-approval back over to you. Then your realtor is going to be ready to rock and roll. They're not going to waste their time if they don't know that you're approved.
Right.
Okay.
That's very true. I do not get in my car and drive anywhere to meet anyone unless I have that pre-approval piece of paper in my email box. And the reason why is because first of all, you want to be ready to go. I mean, we're in a market where it's a hot market, especially in Charlotte. Like, it's still a seller's market, you know, it's still multiple offer situation. I mean, I can't believe I had the nerve, the audacity to schedule. I had to get surgery on my foot. So I said, oh, I'm gonna do it, you know, in the wintertime, in the slow season. Why did I think it was going to be slow?
Slow
It was
season.
not slow. I had to ask a couple of realtors to show property for me.
Yeah.
So, you know, in a time like this, you want to have a pre-approval letter.
Yeah.
You want to be able to push the button. You want to be able to write an offer and go. Not only that, like, again, which I believe I discussed in previous video, but the difference between a pre-qual and a pre-approval is pre-qual, you're just filling out the application, they're pulling your credit, you're stating what you make, and that's it. Pre-approval, you have sent in all your documentation. The lender now has facts, which I love facts. I love facts. The lender has facts, and then, you know, she could put together your pre-approval letter with your documentation. So guys, always do that. That's just the best way to go.
And that was actually my last question. What is the difference between a pre-qualification and pre-approval? And Des just talked about that. A pre-qualification is you've just submitted a basic skeleton application, and based on what you've said, you could have said anything. Based on what you've said, they've said this person is qualified to purchase a home. Qualified. Okay? But then a pre-approval is you've gotten your 2 months bank statements, you've got your W-2s, your tax returns, you've gotten your pay stubs, you've gotten everything that you need, your student
401k, any investments that you have. All of this information helps with getting, you know, to the point to where you know exactly how much house you can afford. Without that, guys, and a lot of times when you do submit your paperwork and your documentations, you actually qualify for more than you thought, because this is like, just make sure it's factual. Just sending those
and that's one of the things that was why I wanted to have that as the last question, because when you come to a financial coach, we're going to walk you through this entire process. Keep in mind, guys, Des and I worked together for many, many years. And so, Des, you said you have, 13 years experience as a realtor?
Almost 15.
14.
Almost 15, yeah.
Almost 15 years.
I started in 2003. Oh, wait a minute. It's 20. Oh, gosh. Okay, so that's 17 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and so
17 years.
And even then, you were in the mortgage business. That's where we met.
Right, so around 2006.
I have over 20 years experience in the mortgage business. I've been an underwriter, a processor, so I know what the lender is looking for. I know how they're going to pick apart that file. So guess what? When you come to me, I'm going to actually look at all of your information. So when you give it to the lender, all they have to do is say, approved.
Yep.
Because see, the homes that I've purchased, my processors loved me because I did their work for them. I mean, they literally said, oh my God, Karina, how did you know? Duh. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, so you have to be able to really, at this point in the game, because like Dad says, the market is so hot, when you leave that credit coach, you're going to have everything lined up. You're going to go to that realtor. The realtor is going to say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Lender, I've got a client. They're packaged and ready to go. Now tell us, what are we pre-approved for?
Right.
Then they're going to get that back to Des. Des is going to be able to hit the ground running. But let me give you a secret, one of my secret sauces. I'm actually going to go through the process with you so that you would actually know how much you can afford before you get to it. Because just like Des said, when they get ready to get to that point with the lender, you're probably going to be approved for more than you think. But what I'm going to do is pull you back some, and I'm going to show you some of the things that the lender is not going to be taking into consideration. You've got to have lawn care.
Yeah.
You've got to have not HOA dues, but
And you might have
yeah,
HOA dues,
but
like
that should be that should be counted in your debt to income ratio. But there's a
it is,
ton
but a
of
lot of
things.
times you have to pay for the HOA. It's
Right,
outside of your
right.
mortgage payment. So,
You've got
and
child
that's good to
care.
factor in.
Yeah, you've got child care, you've got groceries. There's a ton of things that you're gonna have that that the lender is not gonna consider. And
Right,
guess what? You and I are gonna go through every single one of them
right,
because we don't want you to get to the lender and they say, "Oh, yeah, you can afford a $200,000 house based on paper, black and white," but then you have this other stuff. You
right,
help your mom,
right.
you help your sister, you help your brother, you help your family, you give them money, you go and get your hair done. I'm
Mhm.
going through all of this. How much do you put down on that weave every 3 months?
Right.
I mean, it's real.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
If you
That's stuff
travel,
that you have to factor in. The lender ain't gonna factor in no weed.
exactly,
You know what I mean?
exactly. I
And you
know
don't
my,
want to be house poor, get a nice house, and then
oh
you're
my
sitting on
goodness,
a cardboard box and eating
oh
noodles.
my goodness, oh my goodness. I had, my husband and I, before my dad passed in 2018, we were traveling every single weekend, Friday to Sunday. We were traveling from Virginia to North Carolina, Friday driving down, Sunday coming back. Well, guess what? That took a lot of money for
Yeah,
gas, eating, and then anything else that we were required to get while we were doing that, going back and forth. That's
right,
a ton of money. So if you have situations like that you have to take into consideration, I'm going to walk you through everything.
right.
So there's a huge difference when you're looking at a credit repair specialist. They're not looking at this. They're getting your credit ready for you. That's it. Okay. And I want to bring this up. I have a rental property and Des is aware of this because we've been kind of back and forth working on it and things, but I have a rental property and it's up for rent right now. We've got a ton of um, applications in, and I received a notification from a young lady over the weekend. And she said, this is her scenario. And I'm not going to use names, of course. And but anyway, she has she's self-employed. She
Hmm.
makes upwards of $70,000 a year. She's divorced, recently divorced. Had to go through bankruptcy, Chapter 13, where she's paying the bankruptcy, but she needs a fresh start.
Okay.
And my husband said, because my husband's never been in the mortgage business, so he doesn't know these, okay, well, why is she wanting to rent a house if she makes so much money? Why is she trying to rent this house and is asking us, how are we going to be looking at her credit?
Hmm.
This is a very good question. People think because they have a ton of money but bad credit, they're good.
Hmm.
She's not.
Right.
And so I wanted to just kind of put this at the end of the conversation because it drives home the fact that we really have to work on our credit. Because she's now found herself in a situation where she's got all of this money. I mean,
Hmm.
she can pay the rent, fine, no problem. But because of her credit situation, most people are not going to rent to her.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
come across that a lot as well. With
yeah, I explained to my husband, I said, if you look at a lot of the celebrities now, a lot of them are talking about cleaning up their credit because they're realizing that if they make $1 million, they
Mhm.
now don't have to spend 99.99999 thousand of it to
Right.
buy a house or somewhere to live because their credit is jacked up and now their cash is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So credit and money goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
So it is imperative that we learn how to really manage both of these equally.
Yeah. One of the biggest things for me with credit is the better the credit you have, the lower the interest rates you'll be able to receive. And that's big. That's big because someone with like great credit can get, you know, a very, very low payment on a car. Like you guys can have buy the same car, and because someone else's credit is better, they're paying like $300 less for that car.
Let me tell you, my dad, so we got a car a couple of years ago. I was in a car accident. And I'm just going to be transparent. My interest rate for my vehicle is 4%. Okay. My dad, because these are my parents and they've always had great credit, his interest rate is 2%.
Wow.
On a brand new vehicle. It was 2%. So, you know, and then when I have people say, well, my interest rate is 17%, it does not have to be.
Right.
I've been there. I'm not,
I have too.
I'm not judging. I'm not like trying to shame anybody, but it is doable to have a 2% interest rate, a 4% interest rate. When we purchased the house that we're in now, I look at the mortgage statement now and I see a chunk of money coming off of the loan amount because most of the payment is going towards principal because it's a low interest rate. That's why you want to have those great credit scores, because if you're paying whatever the loan is, think about that interest that you're going to have to pay.
Right.
So guys, it is imperative that we have a really good handle on our credit. And so I do hope that these questions have really enlightened you and been beneficial. You know, I try to be as transparent as I can. Some things I just won't say because sometimes, you know, it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But some things I do want to share with you because I have expressed in the past that, you know, I've had 400 credit scores. You know, I've been on the brink of, you know, do I file bankruptcy, you know, things of that nature. So things happen. I get that.
Absolutely. And you know what I want to bring up as well, guys, do not be ashamed. I think a lot of times don't just go to like a credit repair company that's just going to pull your credit because you don't really have to interact with anybody, or because you're ashamed. Just don't do it. Like I went through the same thing in 2008. I had a loft downtown Winston.
Yeah.
And I ended up moving to Charlotte when I got a job here, rented it out. And guess what? I put tenants in there. After a while, they stopped paying. And I couldn't cover that mortgage. I lost everything. Like I had to rebuild. Like I'm just now getting back on my feet over the past 2 years. Okay? So things happen. Like we're all human.
Yes.
We're all human. Things happen. And the thing to think about is if you're making this change or trying to make this change and you take that step, that's something to be rewarded about.
Yes.
That's something to feel good about. Okay? Not to feel ashamed about. All right? So I just wanted to point that out because I know a lot of people probably like, well, I don't want them to see my situation or my credit.
Yeah, because let me tell you guys, I have seen credit scores that extremely low. My only response when I see this is I am sad. I am sad because somebody else is going through something that I've gone through, and I don't want them going through that. Now, I will say I do get a little upset if people say, well, no, I'll just deal with it. How?
Right.
You know, and so please don't feel ashamed. I don't judge. I don't berate people. There's none of that. Definitely does not do that either. That is not something, we are out here really pushing this because we want to help people.
Right. Yep.
You know, I mean, we work through the week trying to coordinate how we're going to get these videos done, and we have committed to doing this. And sometimes, guys, we are coming off of doing something, you know, business, family.
Just tired. We're tired. We're always working. I know I am, and I know Karina, I know you're hard worker. But we're still trying to get this information out and be committed to getting this information out to you guys.
because it is necessary. We want to make
Yeah.
sure you guys win. So please, 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 guys, do not feel ashamed. Do not feel ashamed. That is the last thing that we want. Des has already been very transparent and said that she's gone through this. I went through it. We were actually working for the same company in 2008 that closed down. I lost my house as well. I lost my house, you know. So I lost my house. I lost my car. So it is nothing to be ashamed of, nothing at all, you know.
Yep, absolutely.
So this has been my piece on credit repair, credit coaching, questions
This
that,
was awesome. This was
thank
awesome. I
you.
definitely learned a lot there with the difference between, I didn't even know that there was a credit
Mhm.
specialist versus credit counselor.
Yeah,
So this was definitely
yep.
a good topic to cover.
Awesome, awesome. So guys, if you have any other questions, please inbox me, inbox Des. We will definitely get the answers out to you, and I will get the associations that I deem to be legitimate. There's some that are just, you know, they are top notch, and so I'll get those out to you guys by tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Well, guys, it's been another Sensible Sundays, and I hope it made a lot of sense to you. All right, we're going to see you next Sunday. And remember to be inspired and act on your inspiration. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.